making gold from the new raid BOE gear. And as you can see, there is a whole heap of new ones. These are going to be the ones from the raid, and now these are all BOE. So the prices on these are going to be absolutely crazy. The first month of this patch, these things will be selling for a lot of gold. So there's a few ways to make money from these. First of all, obviously, would be running the raid, and if you get them as a drop, you can go ahead and sell them. Now, when selling these, if you have 2 accounts, I'd highly recommend moving them to a high populated realm with the best price. So to do that, you go on Undermine Exchange, you'd find the best realm that has a high population, so you know it's going to sell quickly, and with the very best price, because you're going to be able to get a lot of gold for all of these items in the first month. They're going to be worth a lot of gold all the way through the patch, but for the first month, they're going to be worth a lot of gold, like a lot and a lot of gold. So if you can get lucky enough to get some of these from the raid. Now, the best way to actually farm these would be to have ults and to run the raid on as many characters as possible, and to farm the raids specifically just for these. This thing right here, this ring, is going to go for a lot of gold. Things that can sell to multiple different classes are also going to go good. So this ring is probably going to be one of the best sellers. It looks like all the rest are different gear pieces, but a ring, anyone can use a ring. And this here, if you're lucky enough to get hold of this, can make a lot of gold. Now, another way to make gold from these BOEs is by flipping them. Now, with cross round flipping, what you could do is you could find them on realms where they're cheap, and then you can move them onto a realm where they got a much better price. And these things are going to be selling like hotcakes while everyone's trying to gear up. A lot of people will be after all these different pieces of BOE. Now, moving on to the next method, it's pretty similar. First of all, there's going to be all of these trinkets, and these are at 428 eye level. So there's a bunch of these that are all different, they do different things. These trinkets will be worth a lot of gold all the way through the patch. On top of them though, you're also going to have the new green BOE gear. Now this is item level 415, which is really good. And how this stuff works is that you can actually upgrade it. You can upgrade the item level on it very easily. So a lot of people, especially in the first week or 2 weeks, are going to be spending crazy amounts of gold on these. And these just drop from the new zone. You don't actually have to be doing the raid. They drop from any of the mobs, well, the majority of the mobs from the new zone, and they're pretty easy to farm. So I won't be surprised if people figure out a really good way to actually farm these, the most efficient way in the first few weeks. They'll be very, very profitable, and then all the way through the patch, like later on, months later on, they'll still be worth a decent bit, because everyone will be wanting to buy these for their ults. Because what you do is you basically buy them, they start at item level 415, and then you can upgrade the item level till they're actually really good pieces of gear that can compete with the current content item level gear. So these are going to make a crazy amount of gold, and in the first week, obviously, these things are going to go for a ridiculous amount, a really, really good amount. And there's a bunch of them. If we keep going and look at the other page here, so all the way down to here, all of these, and they've all got different stats and things like that. Now, once again, what I'd recommend doing with these is moving them onto a high populated realm with the very best price. And then another big thing will be also flipping these 415 item level gear. So maybe not buying them in the very first week, because the prices will be a bit steep still. But after, say, a week or two, the prices on these, some of these, you might be able to find some really good flipping deals that you can actually go ahead and buy these and go ahead and flip them. So that's another method that is going to be really good throughout patch 10.2. Alright, so the next method to make a lot of gold in the early stages of the new patch is going to be by crafting the new PvP gear. So with the patch comes the next item level of the crafted PvP gear, which is this stuff right here. And now this has a higher item level in PvP. This is why a lot of the PvPers go for this gear right here. And this is going to sell really good. Now there's two ways you can make gold from this new gear, and first of all is obviously going to be crafting this and then selling them up on the auction house. The best way to do that would be to have two accounts and to pretty much craft them all on one realm and then spread them out across a bunch of different realms. If you're one of the early people to get these plans and patterns for these items, you should be able to make a killing early on, like in the first week or so. So here are some of the patterns and plans, as you can see. Now there's a bunch of these. Now how this works to actually get these is by doing PvP. So you're going to have to do Season 3 PvP to actually get hold of these. Now you can spend, I believe it's 5,000 honor, and you can get a crate that has a chance to drop these patterns and plans. And you also, every single time that you finish a PvP event like an arena or a battleground, you always have a chance at getting another crate that can have some of these patterns and plans inside of them. So that would be one way to do it. Another way would be to actually farm for these by doing PvP and then selling the patterns and plans straight on the auction house. But you probably would make more by actually learning the patterns and plans and making a bunch of the crafted gear. And then the third way to make money with these would be by flipping them. If you can look on Undermine Exchange and you can find the cheapest deals for these patterns and plans, you can buy those up and then you can obviously resell them for a profit. Now these are going to be in super high demand the first week or two, while everyone is still starting and trying to gear out their characters. Because what a lot of people will do is they'll get a full set of this crafted PvP gear, then they'll upgrade with honor gear, and then they'll upgrade with conquest gear for their BIS PvP gear. So early on, this is going to be really good. Then all the way through the patch, people will still need this stuff for their ults. So you will be able to craft these all the way through patch 10.2, and you should be able to sell them throughout the whole season. Another good way to make gold is going to be with all of the new profession stuff. So there's going to be a bunch more new plans, patterns, and all that sort of stuff. And a few of them you'll be able to make a lot of gold with. So let's go ahead and look through some of them. Obviously there's all of the PvP crafted gear, but there's going to be some others also. So all of these that I'm showing you right now are brand new to patch 10.2. So there's a few in here that are definitely going to be worth looking out for. And if you're one of the first people to get some of these plans, you'll be able to make an absolute killing from them with the professions. As you can see, there is a lot of them. And now these will be obtained a bunch of different ways. So what I'd recommend doing is figuring out which ones are going to make the most amount of gold for you, depending on what professions you have and things like that, and going out and trying to farm for those until you get them. Now a lot of them won't be BOE, so a lot of them you'll have to buy with currencies or do things in the game to actually obtain them. If I could take a guess, I probably would put my money on these being the most profitable ones, the crests. By the looks of it, these are going to be the ones that you want to get hold of, especially if you're an enchanter and have that set up already. Alright, so moving on to the next method is going to be by crafting Dracothus. So these are still going to be used in this new patch for the full season. So Dracothus crafting with your alchemist is going to still be very, very profitable. So another thing that you could do to make a lot of gold throughout this patch is by setting up ults or with alchemy. Now it's super easy to set them up so they can start crafting the Dracothus. What I'd recommend doing is setting up alchemy on all of your ults or leveling up more ults just to do this. And basically what will happen is they have a cooldown on how often you can craft the Dracothus. So the more ults you have, the more of these that you obviously be able to make, meaning the more profit. Now, if you'd like to learn how to set up ults with alchemy to actually do this transmute, I have a video on the channel explaining exactly how it works and how to get the knowledge points to start actually doing this profitably. It's pretty simple. It only actually takes like half an hour to set up a level 70 character to actually do this. These are the ingredients that you're going to need. So the glow spores are still going to be in high demand. So another good farm to actually do throughout this patch is still going to be by collecting the glow spores. These things will sell very good throughout this season also. Alright, so the final gold making method that I'm going to be showing you will be by farming these right here, the Dreaming Antler fragments. So how you actually farm these is with the skinning. So you want to make sure you have a skinner for patch 10.2, and basically what you do is you use the baits that you can get from the specialization, and basically what it will do is it will allow you to summon a rare mob once per day, and you'll have a chance at getting the Dreaming Antler fragments. These things are going to sell on the auction house, and they're going to sell for a decent amount of gold. I expect them to be one of the best money makers that you can possibly do at the start of 10.2, definitely, because they're used for a whole heap of different things that people are going to want. I will be making a video on this, but basically how this one works, you're going to need a certain amount of knowledge points in skinning to actually be able to make the baits. It's under a specialization tree in skinning. Once you have that, you can then use these baits where you can summon and bring in special rare mobs, and that is going to be the mob that actually has the chance of dropping the Dreaming Antler fragments when you skin it. So keep an eye out for the video coming up very soon on how to actually farm this the most efficient way, but you can only do it once per day per character. So everyone that has alts, this is probably going to be one of your best ways to make money. If you've got a bunch of alts, you should be able to farm a bunch of these every single day and make an absolute bank from these. Alright guys, so that was it for today's video. I'm going to be bringing this up as soon as patch 10.2 is actually live. As you can see, it's down right now for the NA, and it should be coming up very, very shortly. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more gold making content. And if you'd like to learn the secrets of making gold in retail World of Warcraft, then you can check out my complete gold making guide, which will be the first link down below in the description box. Most of these methods I will go over in other videos in more detail. This was just a quick run over of the top 5 ways to make gold in patch 10.2.